block, the editing cubicles, okay?
Duly noted.
And let's try and avoid words like the C word anymore.
Yeah,
You're talking about Biden?
You've run into some, you know what I'm talking about.
If we had
he's gonna
HR,
get
I would be
244.
fired.
Yes, absolutely.
many-
We do have
Easy
HR.
thinking.
It's called me. And my feedback was, ha! All right, this has been Slightly Racist Manny on how to vote. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Nevada's at 67%. I think that they're done with that. Even though there's 2, 3, 4,
that
5,
music.
6,
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny boy, I am going to ask you, if he is out there, to bring me one of those San Latano
I think it's just
Maduros
gonna be
that's
two.
in my humidor, and if you could clip that for me. Yeah, this thing is just. You can take this one if you want.
'Cause I'm-
but I can't. I can't
you
handle
can-
it right
you
now.
can- you
I
can see
can't
on
with
my
tonight. I
stream.
can't handle a broken wrapper.
No.
You
Can't
hang
do
on
it.
in there, Gerald.
And
I'm doing
you
well,
deserve
yeah.
better.
Your
Yeah.
wife was out there too. She's really been.
And
George
my
already
munchkin.
done.
He
Your
was
little
here
munchkin.
for the whole thing. That was great.
We have several dogs out there.
Yeah, I think the barking and chewing up of
It's
another
been
human
leaning.
being
George has
probably
been leaning.
woke him from his slumber.
I think you are right.
That was inconsiderate of us.
I really hope he's okay. More than Brendan. I really don't. I mean, I hope my son,
Remember
your
how
child,
afraid
isn't
I was of
disturbed.
your baby when you had me to go over your house? Like, you were like,
You didn't
hold
want
it. I was like, I
to
don't
drop
want to.
him.
Yeah, I really am. I really am afraid of dropping baby.
No. I don't think that's just a you thing. I think that's everybody who doesn't have a child, which obviously was me until a few months ago. Right. You're like,
Biden's already got Hawaii. I think he's gonna get Nevada.
Baby's pretty resilient.
But you
hold
were
him
also
down.
sitting.
I also don't trust myself because I always want to
240, 244 is gonna be the tops.
Why is it when you seem like you want to bite those?
Well, if he gets
feet and
Nevada and
those
he gets
hands,
Hawaii,
like,
that's 10
"Arr," it's like, what am I, a cannibal?
No.
So like, isn't like a
Weird.
He's already got Hawaii.
so cute? I just
Yeah, so you just want to bite him.
Not actually.
They're already
Well,
saying that
I
he's
wanna
that
have,
he's
like,
got
a baby
Hawaii.
Throwing contest, like I want
Is
to
that
like a
already
discus.
built into it?
Are
you kidding me?
Even the AP. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just to me. Reg, the bandit. Do we have anything new coming?
So say he doesn't get Hawaii.
Can they do this?
Trump gets Hawaii.
More and more for these,
Yeah, 240.
For North Carolina. Hold on.
I don't know how they're able to do that, but they do.
Trump is about to speak.
Oh, okay.
They're just expecting them to
So maybe
to go all Biden, I guess. I don't know.
Shoulder pads from this.
That's
I can't believe
That's
Biden
really
went out
frustrating.
on TV and was like, yeah, everybody.
Yeah, acting like he already won.
20 people there.
No,
And acting like he already won.
Yeah.
You know what,
Like an
I'm gonna
hour
give you this there, Tim, because that's Diner Box. And you know what? I hope it never becomes a sponsor to the show because it tastes
Do
like.
you fucking believe this shit?
yeah, you don't want that.
I don't want to.
No, that's okay.
But-
We'll need give this to John. I'll need him to clip this. I can't. Look at the hole in this thing. Look at this. What is it? What am I trying to suck it through a sippy straw? Oh, you know what? I have my own knife. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. Sorry, this is not compelling content. All right, what were you saying?
It's
there,
fairly
Ray?
No, I was just gonna say if we
God,
have it
though.
Mm.
before Trump's speech that Trump is
Landslide, yeah.
lead in Georgia.
Look,
There
Biden's
is
got
a
no
decision desk
support.
has 99% of the vote in.
That's what
and
you
he is
see
still,
everywhere, and that's you know, with the media being paid for.
2,367,000 votes.
Fucking
for-
see
What,
no
you have
support
99%
for
of the
Biden.
vote in?
That's what decision desk is
Just crazy
right
people,
at,
Jeff.
a little
Literally,
less than
that's all I
99%.
fucking see for Biden.
And
Let me
like
go to
50
New
people
York.
here,
Let me
100
go to
people
New York
there.
Times here.
And then
And
the
it still
majority
has
of them are nuts.
tilting 63% Biden. So close. How does New York Times have it tilting 63%?
I think
Because
decision
you'd
desk
have
may
to
be
be
a little
fucking
ahead of
close
New
to
York
those polls.
Times.
They have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are they accurately
So wait,
ahead, or are they
decision
just
desk
Or
ahead?
just absolutely
Decision
hate
desk
Trump
has
so
how
much
many
you
votes
really
for
let the
Donald
country
Trump?
burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's substantial. In other words, that's 2
Which I think is
points-
like a
that's
whole
more than
chunk
2
of
points
fucking people.
ahead.
Yeah.
Retarded.
Well, a lot of people just want us to go to socialism, which
Plus 4 on New York.
I don't understand why they would want to do that. I mean, you
I know 100%.
you look at all these other countries that have gone socialist. Like
I think it just must be that.
you're an example of Canada.
Counting on those to make
Have
that
you
up,
listened to
but,
Jordan
as
Peterson?
it gets
We're
closer,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Fucking
In North
Y'all are
Carolina,
pretty damn close to being socialist.
Again, it's
Pretty close,
nearing
yeah.
99%,
We're
and Trump still
I don't
has
believe
a
that.
decent
But
lead
right
over
now,
Biden
not with
there
our
as
current
well.
administration,
No.
Is
literally
that
basically
99% of today votes, or is that 99%
Yeah.
of mail-in
But
votes?
there's a
Are we
bunch
sure
of
the decision
lawsuits
desk is using the
that
same
works in
methodology?
this
Because again, at this point, if
Who knows?
what you are saying is correct,
I want to
then it
see
just means that
retaliation in Canada
being
for sure.
afraid of calling votes for Trump. You know,
But I mean,
Yeah, well,
Venezuela is the prime example of how.
So
look
decision desk is
crazy,
saying,
you
it
know?
looks like the numbers
Yeah.
are
Trump can make the
similar.
U.S. normal.
Decision desk is saying
Canada looks
a-
nuts.
a little less than
Then
99.
we'll be like, what the fuck is everybody
New York
living
Times
normal
is
lives
saying
over there for?
91
We're
for
fucking
Georgia.
barricaded
And
inside.
Yeah.
see what they're saying for North
So we
Carolina.
can't work.
But
It's like
Now,
when
is
you
that
see all
here's
that
the thing that I
stuff,
want to make
that-
sure. Do we know is that 99% of the total vote from 2016?
Republicans got another fucking-
available this year.
of the estimated.
I
Well,
was
there's
seeing.
no way then at that point
Did
it's
they?
99% of the
Senate
vote. There's
seat.
no way that
That's another thing I was wanting to
Joe Biden
check.
makes up that ground in a place like Georgia.
47,
47, 46, yeah.
Is 92%.
Not looking good in the House. Yeah,
Yeah.
that changed.
But how many more
sorry.
House votes is that going to come up?
Let me see
Trump
what New
gets
York
his other
Times is
fucking
saying as far as
states?
the percentage.
I don't know.
If we want to go more conservative,
We'll see.
that would be the
So
more conservative.
New York Times
source.
is saying 91% is reported in Georgia.
Because if you
They're
look at
saying
this, like we were just saying,
95% reported in North Carolina.
Biden
and they
only
have
has
85%
Nevada coming
Trump.
in.
In Georgia, they have 63% Biden. But
I've got
Everything
according to
else
AP,
is fucking coming
93%
over to
reported in
Trump.
Georgia.
Yeah.
It's 2.36 million to
So then
2.24.
look at the fucking
For
seats.
roughly the- yeah, for
How many
roughly the
seats can
same
Biden
spread.
so New York
possibly
Times
get
is the
from
only one
Nevada?
here that has Trump down.
Yeah, Associated Press. Yeah, 94% from North
Okay.
Carolina.
Yeah, Montana's done.
Still have Trump ahead.
By how
quite
much
a
do they have
margin.
Trump?
He is 50.1%, and Biden is 48.7.
I think Nevada's gonna go red.
North Carolina.
I'm gonna be honest.
1.1. So this is really important. Let's here. You know
Yeah,
what?
it's really close,
although I don't want to do it.
It's super
really
close.
But do me a favor, Rich, bring up
549 to
Decision Desk
520.
and bring up was that AP
It's
and then bring up New York
67%.
Times.
That's fucking
Have those
not a
in
sure
tabs
thing
next
at all.
to each other
Look around.
because
look
you
at
guys need to see
counties.
the difference in New
Yeah.
York Times. Either they are not.
I think-
everything's red and they are
I
not
think
falling
I think
behind,
Nevada's
or
gonna
they're
go red.
trying
So I'm gonna
to
change mine to
avoid
red
falling
here.
states for Trump. Why? Because they want to demoralize
How do
people.
you change yours to
Why?
red?
Because they want Joe Biden
On
to
that-
come out and
that
say,
custom
hey,
thing.
everyone, go to bed. You won't know the result.
The
But
my
guess what?
elections.
People went to bed knowing that
The
North Carolina and
interactive,
Georgia went for Trump. That's a very different
yeah.
message.
You have to make an account to do it.
No.
Visions of winning.
It's an interactive map on CNN.
Well, I think that
Okay, I'm
blue
on the
wall,
interactive
though,
map
is,
on CNN.
again, I guess
Yeah, you click on those and then it changes the color.
and
Or
for
average
some
control.
reason
my
he
color.
thinks he's comfortable.
works for me.
Calling it or
Yeah.
at least
I
having
click
some
on
kind
it,
of
it just
positive
goes in
feeling about it.
detail.
Well, and from what I understand, Georgia is
Well, then
also
you're not on the
one of
right
those states
thing.
where they didn't expect to get the result.
Let me
CNN
let me
election,
let me
election
no,
results.
let me send you the
Georgia is
link
one
for
that
it.
should be called tonight, and that's why I think Joe Biden came out and said, "We feel good about Georgia." Well, you shouldn't,
Yeah, I think the two that we have to.
unless he
really
meant
I'm
six
putting
years
it in
well,
general.
I think it's Arizona and Georgia. I think they're not talking about North Carolina at all.
There you go.
And they haven't mentioned it probably in the last hour.
Yeah, North
it seems.
Carolina is.
So
I
I
mean,
think that's
barring
probably
some
gonna go-
unforeseen
yeah.
incident, it's Trump.
So it really does come down to I think the Georgia deal, and then we'll just kind of see how Arizona goes. Because if Georgia comes in, I feel like it's over. Michigan and Pennsylvania look like they're very heavily. Takes Wisconsin out of the mix. They're about 110,000 in Wisconsin right now, but only about 65 or 70%.
Oh man, this is gonna be so close, and it gives me anxiety, more and more anxiety every second.
He doesn't need it.
Well, but he loses Arizona. That's not true. He's got to win Michigan as well.
Why'd
as
you move to
Pennsylvania.
general?
No,
Big
Michigan. He
change.
can also.
Oh, I don't know what I was doing.
Which
Oh.
I wonder if he could do one of those.
Whereas Joe Biden needs.
I'm like, what's up with this one? Why is the
Michigan
numbers
and
completely off? But I
Pennsylvania,
guess it's not.
or
Like,
Michigan.
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
it's-
So either needs all three or he needs
It's
the two
like
big.
yours.
The two big ones.
Yeah, you build it.
So, and we'll see. And Nevada's very close right now.
So I've got for Biden, Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Minnesota, Illinois, New York, and then all of those northeastern states, Virginia, everything else, and Hawaii. Everything else is Trump, and that's coming out to be 238 to 300.
You can.
Yeah.
You know,
You
that's
can smoke when you're happy,
29,000 vote
smoke when
difference
you're
in
sad.
Nevada.
That's just what I can hope for.
29,000 votes.
Oh, you know what? Maybe.
Hey, my
Uh,
question mark
narrow.
doesn't seem so funny now, huh?
No,
Question
it
mark.
does not seem so funny. Hey, can someone bring me in a mug with just some ice, and I'll have some of this Russell's Reserve.
We need to get 29,000 more votes
I dug into New
in
York Times
Nevada
numbers. If you
to,
go to their
pass up
actual numbers
Biden.
For, North Carolina, what we're seeing is they are reporting.
What's up, Aggie? How's it
the
going?
Same thing as Decision Desk and other outlets, but the deal there is that they are anticipating some of those later reports to break for Biden, and so that's
I'm gonna grab
why
some
you
water real
have
quick.
that tilt on the election needle, right?
Right.
Because
Just
that's
set
sort
mine
of
up
their,
to
that,
match
that's their
this and see what happens.
prediction.
With North Carolina or Georgia?
North Carolina, it's the
Because
same.
they still
it's
have
the same
85%
vote.
Trump.
Yeah.
But Georgia, they have 63% leading Biden, whereas
Yeah.
Decision Desk everywhere else has 99% of the vote, and Donald Trump leading by 2 points.
Yeah, it's the same deal, I believe, for both. That they are reporting the same numbers. Yep, they have Trump up in Georgia as well, and
Let's show the screen, guys. Let's show Reg the Bandit screen if we can.
We're getting it pulled up.
Okay, good.
so anyway, it's they are reporting those numbers, but they're just anticipating.
So I want to be clear
projecting
here.
that.
Right now in Georgia, 99% of the vote, and Trump's ahead by 2 points.
They say 91%.
But
New York
Decision
Times.
Desk
Times, New York
and
Times.
AP say 99%.
AP says,
AP last I pulled up in Georgia was 93.
yeah, I think it may be to
94 now.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
and Decision Desk had 99.
It's had greater than
93,
99.
93 on the Associated Press.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of these are reporting things like 94 to 98%. So there's there's a range for that. So I think that's what you have with Decision Desk is within that margin.
Yeah, but still, that's a big difference if everyone else has 93,
Yeah.
94, New York Times has 91.
Because that's a big number. depending on
Let's
where
see
it
what
comes
Jake
from.
Tapper is saying right now in front of all those white states.
That we didn't anticipate would happen necessarily, although certainly people were sounding the alarms about Joe Biden and Latino voters. But there is a realignment going on, and so it takes a little while sometimes when that's happening.
What's with the
This
shoulder
is really
pads
weird.
at CNN?
How the hell did I do this?
What's with the
I'm giving
Maleficent
myself-
tabulate
I got a copy.
style?
Fox News.
The prime examples of
Map.
that tonight.
Yeah.
Arizona, we have been talking about the dramatic
Mine says
demographic
237,
shift in
214.
that
Somehow I gave
state.
Trump.
And Georgia, same thing.
Important though for people
Georgia-
watching.
It's the
that Arizona is lost forever. Because if Donald Trump made this much headway,
it's those swing
with Latino
states.
voters, imagine what he can make before the next.
So if you look on my stream,
even in an
these
Arizona.
these ones down in the bottom right corner, you gotta
Republicans
match those up
compete
too.
with Latinos, but you're seeing that happen. You're seeing the game
On Fox News, they're on the top right. There's two squares and then the circles that are next to them. You gotta match that to what's on the CNN thing.
Already occurred before the last election. So you're talking about a
I don't
demographic
know.
shift occurring with more Latinos.
Looks kinda
in
gay.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, anyone who lives in Arizona knows that there are a lot of people who are not there necessarily legally, and it's not necessarily hard to vote sometimes if you're not there
Yeah.
necessarily legally. So they've had several years for that demographic to change, and we've really only had a few months of changing with Donald Trump and Latino
Right.
voters. So that could change before the next election.
Why do you
dramatically.
think that is? So you said just like 6 months or so of a big swing of Latino support. There's not like a
Well, I
news
still
event
give
I can
Trump
think of that would be
I got
obvious.
I think
Biden's
what it is
right.
is I think I think there are a couple of things. Why do
Did
we
you get
think
Hawaii?
Latino voters they're not breaking for Trump, but in record
Why,
numbers
yeah.
for Republicans.
Sure.
Compared to someone who I think he hates Mexicans, said that
Right.
lady at that
Yeah.
at that. seminar. I think a couple of reasons. First off, Latinos.
Oh yeah, you gotta click the ones that aren't
and Latinos in this country, and they don't
picked
wanna
yet,
be
like the ones that aren't
Mexicans, they don't want to be in Mexico City.
set in stone.
Look at
You gotta click those yellow.
Look at cities like Los
So if you
Angeles,
click those
Los
yellow, then it
Angeles,
matches up.
and they see Kamala Harris and they see Joe
had
Biden
him
saying,
yellow.
"Get used to more of this." And people who are Latinos for the same reason,
Trump's
people
at
who
240.
migrate here from the Eastern Bloc.
Well, I've got him at 219.
They've got
Victimhood
tilted
culture.
red.
When people talk about victim
Blue.
culture, when people talk about systemic,
is
that's
the
really not
blue.
coming from the Latinos. Latinos are saying they just want a path to citizenship, but
Last
they don't
is the
believe that
red.
America is inherently a
put them all
racist
yellow.
country. They
I've
want
got
to be in this country.
238 to
They want
213.
They believe that they have more opportunity in this
Yeah, I
country
got
than their
238
country,
to
which is very
214.
monolithic
fuck
as
I did
far as
that.
color.
I got
So
those
I
numbers
think,
matching
there
up.
just aren't a lot of messages that appeal to Latinos coming from the current Democratic Party.
I don't know.
Plus Despacito.
Plus
That was pretty
Despacito.
bad. That is.
That was really pretty bad.
Yeah.
People thought Sarah Palin was bad.
I'm still stressing, man.
Like, very
I know
cool.
he's already
That's
won,
fine.
but
That's like an American Idol round 2 song.
Well,
Yeah.
Till I
another
see it
thing,
in the
and this,
bag, I
you
ain't
know, to
fucking
your point,
saying
Wade, this
shit.
isn't something
Yeah.
that just happened
Until I see it in the bag, I'm not.
Joe Biden saying, "Hey, I'm gonna undo the."
I'm
tax
not gonna
reform
stop
for
being
American
stressed.
people,"
I am
saying,
stressed.
That means I have a lot less money in my.
Okay,
pocket.
AP has
Right?
Biden at 225 now to 213,
You're gonna get a tax increase, but when you say you're getting rid of the tax credit,
and they haven't decided on Arizona yet. They're the only site that hasn't.
deal. And I
And
think
same thing with Maine.
Arizona fucking-
people, but
if
anecdotally
Nevada
and
still goes
Hispanics
blue,
that I know,
Trump's
they
still gonna win
appreciate
294
somebody
240.
that has the balls,
Yeah.
I guess, to stand
3
up
to
to
240.
what they consider kind of
Which I don't think he is.
during the swamp kind of mentality that he had, and they appreciate that. And they're like, yes,
They're gonna
we
start
are,
leaning
right?
pretty far.
This party has told us forever that they're going to.
Now, here's what's confusing me though,
And that the
'cause
he's probably thinking the same thing. Like,
the only state
we had a
that
president, we
has,
had people in office for
or the only
years,
county that has,
Trump comes in and
that has
immediately-
confirmed
Yeah.
is voting Trump.
I think there's a big
Churchill
difference.
County
Which,
for Nevada.
Latino voters, Spanish-speaking voters.
So why are they saying that it's leaning towards Biden?
Churchill says 61%.
Hang on. Trump's coming up.
He's on TV. He was just speaking with us.
Where? On what?
Although I will say it looked like
On,
he was a little tired and he was a little dejected.
It did,
but-
It's on Steven Crowder. It's on Fox or CNN actually. I'm gonna turn this up.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Here
Let's
he
listen in.
comes.
Oh, here comes President Trump. Let's see what he says.
Donald J.
Well, I guess we should probably stand, even if it's just like. has a hot wife.
Well, thank you very much.
Let's go, Don. Don.
Thank
Don. Mug of ice, please.
Watch him concede right
Thank
here.
you very much. Please, thank you. This is without question the latest news conference I've ever had. Thank you.
Certainly looks like a lot more
I
energy than Joe
appreciate it
Biden.
very much. And I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise that group of people.
Look at this.
And we
he didn't
won't stand
insult
for
people
it.
who didn't
We
vote
will
for
not
him.
stand for it.
He insulted the elites.
Yep.
He's never insulted
I
the
want to
people who
thank
vote
the
for
First
Biden.
Lady,
He's insulted
my
Biden.
entire family, and Vice President Pence, Mrs. Pence, for being with us all through this. And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. The results tonight have been phenomenal, and we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something that was so beautiful, so good. Such a vote, such a success. The citizens of this country have come out in record numbers. This is a record. There's never been anything like it. To support our incredible movement, we won states that we weren't expected to win. Florida, we didn't win it. We won it by
By the way,
a
that
lot.
gap is widening in Pennsylvania right now. It's now 14-point spread. It's 56-42.
We won the great state of Ohio. We won Texas. We won Texas.
Yes, you did. Of course you won Texas. Right?
We won Texas by 700,000 votes, and they don't even include it in the tabulations.
Republicans will.
It's also clear that we have won Georgia.
They're going to try and say he's election
We're
meddling.
up by
Well,
2.5% or 117,000 votes with only 7% left. They're never going to catch us. They can't catch us.
Never gonna catch us.
Likewise,
Can't do
we've
it.
clearly won North Carolina, where we're up 1.4%.
I believe him. And when you have Georgia and North Carolina,
77,000
guess
votes
what?
with only
He just needs
approximately
Michigan
5%
or
left. They can't
Pennsylvania
catch us.
and one other, and
We
Wisconsin.
also,
Or really, hold on a second.
if you look and you see,
Let's see that real quick.
Arizona,
So that
we
he
have
just needs Michigan
a lot of life in that.
Pennsylvania.
And somebody said,
and then one other.
somebody declared that it was a victory for, and maybe it will be. I mean, that's possible. But certainly there were
No, he just
a
needs
lot of
Michigan and
votes out
Pennsylvania.
there that
North
we could
Carolina and
get
Georgia
because
are
we're now
solidified
just
now.
coming into what
just
they
needs
call
Michigan
Trump
and Pennsylvania.
territory. I don't know what you call it, but these were friendly Trump voters. And that could be
what they call it.
overturned. The gentleman that called it, I
east
watched tonight. He said, well, we think it's fairly unlikely that he could catch. Well, fairly unlikely. And we don't even need it. We don't need that. That was just a state that if we would have gotten it, it would have been nice, Arizona. But there's a possibility, maybe even a good possibility. In fact, since I saw that originally, it's been changed and the numbers have substantially come down just in a small amount of votes. So we want that obviously to stay in play. But
Do we have
most
to talk over this
importantly,
so we don't
we're
get
winning
taken down again?
Pennsylvania
Every
by
now
a
and then.
tremendous amount of votes.
Pennsylvania is huge, hovering around 700,000.
Short of massive voter fraud, I see him winning Pennsylvania. And like I said, especially when you take into account fracking in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, and Michigan's somewhere around 300,000 votes ahead, 310,000. 301.
We're up 600. Think of this. Think of this. Think of this. We're up 690,000 votes in Pennsylvania. 600.
He must be listening to us in his ear.
These aren't even close. It's not like, oh, it's close.
It's not even close. It's
64%
not
of
like
the
it's
voters.
close.
It's going to be almost impossible to catch. And we're coming into good Pennsylvania areas where they happen to like your
wanna say it again?
president.
Oh, it's not close.
So we'll probably expand that.
May I have a beer?
We're winning Michigan. I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said,
Whoa.
wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes. And 65% of the vote is in, and we're winning Wisconsin. So we're winning. We don't need all of them. We need, because when you add Texas in, which wasn't added, I spoke with the really wonderful governor of Texas just a little while ago, and
I don't know.
Greg Abbott, he said, congratulations. He called me to congratulate me on winning Texas. I mean, we won Texas. I don't think they finished quite the tabulation, but there's no way. And it was almost complete, but he congratulated me. Then he said, by the way, what's going on? I've never seen anything like this. Can I tell you what? Nobody has. So we won by 107,000 votes with 81% of the vote. That's Michigan. So when you take those 3 states in particular, and you take all of the others, I mean, we have so many. We had such a big night. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by, and all of a sudden, it's not like we're up 12 votes and we have 60% left. We won states, and all of a sudden, I said, what happened to the election? It's off. And we have all these.
Someone in the control room, keep an eye on Young Turks to see what they're doing watching this, because I bet you they're going to have a meltdown.
Because you know what happened? They knew they couldn't win, so they said, let's go to court. And did I predict this, Newt? Did I say this? I've been saying this from the day I heard they were going to send out tens of millions of ballots. I said exactly, because either they were going to win, or if they didn't win, they'll take us to court. So Florida was a tremendous victory. 377,000.
Hey, what was the final count, Florida? Did he win it by 3.5?
Ohio, think of this.
I don't know.
Ohio, a tremendous state, a big state. I love Ohio. We won by 8.1%, 461.
What did I tell you? Wow, that's huge. I told you if he won Ohio by 8, that's a bellwether. That's what makes me think he's going to win Pennsylvania.
North Carolina, big victory with North Carolina. And so we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election.
Does anyone here feel like he's just doing this for his own personal gain? Or does
election.
everyone else here kind of believe this?
Yeah, he just said we did.
Because we've gone through the numbers ourselves.
The integrity.
Does anyone else feel
for the good
like this is one of those things? He's not trying to stack the deck in his favor. I really do think Georgia, North Carolina, they should call that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing about Georgia is the
law to
votes
be used
remaining
in a
to come in,
proper
but yeah,
manner.
probably should call it.
So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list. Okay? It's a very sad. It's a very sad
That's not going to play well.
To me,
that's going to be the headline tomorrow morning
and
where they're going to say he wants to stop the
we will
election.
win this.
Well, what he's
and
saying,
No. He was saying
haven't voted yet.
He was saying the Democrats.
So I just want to thank
Right. Oh, Democrats want to stop the votes?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, is that what he's
They're
saying?
stopping
I
it
wanna
tonight
thank
prematurely
all of our
to make it
support.
unclear.
I want to thank all of the
This just goes to
people
show.
that
Well, hold on a second.
worked with
Remind me.
us,
Work.
and,
Someone
Mr.
remember these
Vice
words. Work
President.
ethic Democrats. Remind me.
Say a few words, please. Please.
Come on, G.I. Joe, Mr. Small Soldiers. Take it to the Gorgonauts. Fuck them up. You know what I'm talking about?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to join you in thanking more than 60 million Americans who have already cast their vote for 4 more years for President Donald Trump.
Put a beard on that son of a bitch. He'd be one hell of a Santa.
Oh, yeah.
And while the votes continue
What do
to
you
be
want
counted,
for Christmas this
we're
year?
going to remain vigilant,
You.
as the President said.
Yeah.
The right to vote has been at the center of our democracy since the founding of this nation, and we're going to protect the integrity of the vote. But I really believe with all of my heart, with the extraordinary margins, Mr. President, that you've inspired in the states that you just described, and the way that you launched this movement across the country to make America great again, I truly do believe, as you do,
You can even see the
that we
difference
are
in the
on
energy
the
from
road
Pence to Trump.
victory,
The
and
energy
we will
that Trump
make
has.
America great
It makes me
again,
tired.
again.
It's infectious.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And you can tell he really has a fondness for Pence. Wow.
All right, so Arizona ticked up one more point and then it narrowed again.
Okay. Let me see what they have to say on CNN right now, because they are going to be having. They're going to be apoplectic.
Falsely and prematurely declaring victory, saying that he won.
Falsely and prematurely.
He did not win. He has not won.
This has been the play from the get-go. The fact that CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, they've been talking with big tech that Donald Trump cannot declare victory. Listen, what we would need, and I don't know, Reg, if you can bring this up, or if anyone out there in the control room, and Reg, I know you're tired, if anyone can bring up comparable elections in the last 20 years where states have been called that were close to these margins. Yeah. In other words, if there's any way that someone, or if you guys can let me know in the chats, people who are there at lotto.com/mugclub on the Blaze, let me know. I don't have time. I don't have the ability to do this right now while broadcasting the show, but look up 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2006, 2016. Look up, really, let's go back all the way to Reagan. And I want you to tell me if there have been any other elections where with 93% of the vote and a 2 or 3% spread, if they didn't call it at that point. Because this, to me, seems pretty unprecedented.
If it is that, then the media is holding the country hostage.
Well, think of Florida for a second. Let's just go to Florida. They called Florida for Gore. They rescinded. They called it for Bush. And then that was just locked up in the Supreme Court for a long while. It was determined by, 537 votes? But the fact is they called it, both for Gore and for Bush.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing tonight, though, that's different is that we've got it's not close enough to call the election either way because Pennsylvania and other states are still outstanding. So I think that's the big difference. And I think you were actually correct that Trump was saying that we needed to take that to the Supreme Court because of some of the ridiculous things in Pennsylvania. Yeah. I mean, do you guys know that Pennsylvania can accept ballots in drop-off boxes without postmarks for 3 more days?
Yeah, 3 more days.
3 more days.
I think that's why they say they're counting until Friday.
Do we have? Can you bring up that segment we have on the voter fraud?
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There, Reg, can you bring that up?
I can't bring anything up on here, but I can tell you the numbers.
What was the? Do you know what the document was called? I might be able to find it here. Was it its own separate document, voter fraud?
Yeah, I have the election. Yeah. It's in the election night briefing.
Oh, is it in the election? Is that the state-by-state briefing?
Yeah, it's down there at the bottom.
But think about this. While you're pulling that up, the entire kind of pitch has been that it's too dangerous to go vote in person. We have to have these extraordinary things like drop boxes for 3 days later to make sure everybody can vote and, sending out ballots to everybody. And it's all been this pitch that you have to let people do this in order to vote. And really what it does, just like in Harris County, they cut it down to one drop box because they're like, we think this might be illegal. And these votes may be kicked out. So we're going to drop it down to one. That way, if it happens, it's not going to affect as many people. We're going to force you to go and vote another way. And it gets pitched by the media that you're trying to suppress the vote. Yeah. No, we're trying to make sure that people's votes are actually counted.
So just for people who aren't aware, in Pennsylvania, the state legislature passed a law allowing no excuse mail-in voting, right? That was a first for Pennsylvania. And they've also had a lawsuit filed that ruled that ballots can arrive 3 days after the election and still be counted, even without a postmark. Right. And what's more,
insane.
By the way, up to, just for people who don't realize, 2.7 million compromised ballots. Now, that doesn't mean 2.7 million ballots that are fraudulent. That means 2.7 million ballots that are potentially compromised because they've either been double registered, because they can't be matched to signatures, because they've been found in a ditch, or because they've been actually attributed to dead people's names. So we have this on a breakdown by state. I believe we have it at loudwithcredit.com. But 2.7 million ballots could have been compromised in elections as recent as 2020. Not saying that all of those are fraudulent. A lot of them are simply due to ineptitude. Sorry.
Yes.
So this is what Pennsylvania has done. They said, we stopped counting for the night, and you guys have got until Friday, November 6th, to drop off any more ballots in satellite locations, including unstaffed drop boxes.
Have these lazy pricks never heard of a night shift? Yeah. Here's what you do. All right, guys, go take a coffee break. You're in. Okay, one, two, three, 846.
Here.
You take a break. Now you go. We've been here for what? 5? We've been here since 8 o'clock.
7 hours.
6 hours almost.
Yeah, 6 hours. I think this is longer. I think this is longer than our last election live stream.
Almost 7 hours. Yeah.
When did we? Our last election live stream, was it done by?
I think we were done by 2, and then we made a really bad decision.
Then we drove, For people who don't know, again, the start of Mug Club, loudwithcredit.com/Mug Club, for those who want to join. We did this in 2016. And by the way, thank you so much, Gerald. And thank you so much, Courtney, who is not
they
here right
can
now. I
do
don't know if
that,
Courtney can
but-
maybe come in
but
and
he's
take a
sitting
bow
right
of
here.
curtsy. Courtney can come in and sit right
Yeah,
there if
if
she
she
wants to.
wants.
I just don't want her to because I don't know if she has her makeup on and stuff, and she's a lady.
They
and
can
she's
do that if they
fetching.
want, but
But you guys really stepped into
this is
Courtney.
done. It's done.
Courtney, and then I want you to continue, Reg. Courtney, you were there election night. You have to put on your headphones. 2016. Oh, you have a cigar. Lovely. I like a good lady with a nice cigar. Courtney, and back then you didn't even drink. Courtney and Gerald saved my ass because we did not have. And by the way, tonight every one of you has been making my life a whole lot easier, so I appreciate it. I really do. Quarter Black Carrot, Audio Wade, Tokenawan, Reg, even Brendan. Sorry about the dog. Smooth Maddie, Bryce,
Sorry, not
Cute
sorry.
Cute Maddie, Angela, Francine, Darren. Is there anyone that I'm forgetting right now?
All the names.
Aggies Gaming.
Me. Oh, me.
We love you.
Streaming
but
your
thank
stuff,
you.
bro.
You know, and I can only do it with the team that we have. If you, and here's how you know that's. Some people just say that, like, oh, I couldn't do it without. Listen, could I do a show without the team that I have here? Of course I could. Could I do it as well? No. We brought in over a ton of sand to do a Saving Private Ryan parody that we recorded in that green screen.
That was fun.
Look at the change of minds that we've done. Where we've released 2, 3,
Is he
4
live
a
on
week.
here
You
right
can
now?
see the volume of work that I was putting out before the team that we have, and it was not the same that we have now. So does it come from this cerebellum? Sure. Do I think that I'm that bright? No. But I have a team of people who are able to frame it in and make it work that is doable. And so everyone here has made tonight possible. But on that night in 2016, I didn't have that. And it was Courtney and it was Gerald. Gerald was really just kind of there just to help be a sounding board.
Yeah, and kinda
Gerald
tear down
and
the
Courtney.
studio
Do you remember?
afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. And I surprisingly, I got my security deposit back on that house.
Well, that's
But
miracle.
Highway robbery.
you
Yeah.
really took the bull by the horns because you could.
I
see
think
me going,
Biden's
I
gonna
can't
take,
'cause everything-
Nevada.
That night in 2016. It
great.
was all
It's
on my
not looking
computer,
good.
Yeah.
right? And I had a mirroring,
Well, I don't know.
mirroring
I don't know.
app, which wasn't even
Who
like
knows?
an Apple TV, or it wasn't even like some kind of a Roku. Even it was just me having some kind of a makeshift mirror app. It was a black magic connection, trying to get it done. I'm going, I can't do this. I can't call the election and watch these streams and stuff. And
But
Courtney,
look at the
do you
counties.
remember what you did? Because I don't remember, but I remember
I do.
you and Gerald communicating. Tell me, because you guys
I
took
remember,
charge.
I remember getting a phone call. I remember watching.
There's just
this
one
game,
county.
and
It's Churchill
you
County.
said,
One
you
county
know
where
what?
he's winning.
I gotta go for a second.
Look, oh yeah, Clark
And then
County is kicking ass.
1001, 1002. I get a phone call
But,
from you,
What is Lincoln?
and you're like,
what is
I
Lander?
need you to fucking handle this right now. I'm losing
Yeah.
my mind. I need you to get things organized. I'm like,
He's not.
I didn't say
There-
that. What I did say was,
They're
I
like
need you to help because I can't do all of this.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
You were
I
trying
was
to do
mirroring the
There was-
computer. I was bringing up the television
yeah.
station. I
There
was
was-
calling the states. I was
Right.
bringing
There
in the
was a-
sketches.
There was a
yes.
lot
going on.
It wasn't like do all the work.
And
No, 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 no.
Yeah, he's
But
probably not gonna
Courtney
take
is like
Nevada.
Big
I'm
Mama
gonna-
Bear, and she said. So Courtney, just to be clear,
I'm gonna go ahead and
'cause it
declare that
sounds
one
sexist
as
the way she
Biden
described
win.
it.
No.
What I said was,
Sounds
I
racist.
can't do everything that I'm doing right now.
I'm
and
calling that
Courtney,
as a
it's actually
Biden win.
more becoming of her. She said,
Nevada is a Biden win.
I got-
I got this. And she handled it, and then she communicated with you.
Yeah, so I was actually there not to really do
So-
much of anything. I mean, the only thing that I had
You were
done
there to
was
wire
use-
the studio, and you messed
What we
it
have
up.
left,
I screwed it up.
We didn't have a
royally, yeah.
dimmer.
he's
I
winning
called
by
my
a lot,
dad.
and
How
most
do
of
you hook
those,
this up?
except
Remember
Alaska,
that?
that's
We went
only
to Home
28%.
Depot?
Yeah.
But
We
he's
were
got a
looking for the-
third.
we were looking for the light temperature.
He's
You're
got
like, this should be good.
24%
I'm like,
lead in
"Ah,
Alaska right
it's
now. He's
like-
taking
It's
Alaska.
like River Monster.
There's no
Have
question
dimming
about that.
bulbs, dimmable bulbs. I think
got
that
it
should have
down.
been something I should have known.
As
But she
244
basically
Biden,
became the point of
294.
kind of reference for
Georgia's
everything. Like,
done.
everything needed to go through her on results.
North
'cause we were
Carolina's
trying
done.
to feed you information from too many points.
Right.
and that was
Wisconsin's
just-
done.
We couldn't do that.
Yeah, we needed kind of one person on.
Yeah,
the job
and we
And
were.
you didn't even have a chair.
I didn't
Remember?
even, I
You
didn't
were
even,
off.
I didn't even have a mic at
You
the
didn't
time.
have a
We were, like,
mic.
hooking it up.
You were
like,
just
last
off,
second.
and
yeah.
the
So
distance,
Pennsylvania
and then someone else was
and
kinda hitting the track,
Michigan is-
we were in over our head.
A lot.
And I
It
think
was,
how many people do we have
So
watching?
that we
does
didn't
this
think was
mean
gonna
he's
happen.
popular
People
vote
watching?
too?
Yeah,
It was
small.
it was a lot for us at the time.
Yes, it was.
Possibly,
Yeah,
I mean, it
was-
depends
I would
on-
say it was like 50,000, and we were.
It depends
No, I
on
think it was
what
15,000.
It
what
was
comes in, you know.
36,000 was
Right
what
now,
we got
popular
on
vote
2016
has him
live
at-
stream.
Listen to this guy.
I looked
Yeah.
it
Still-
up.
he's-
Definitely
Yeah, he's
got taken
losing
out
by
of it was like
a little over a
520.
million.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it was like 520.
Yeah.
What are we to now at? What are we now at? 3 in the morning.
360.
We're 363.
It
Thank
came
you so
back
much.
up.
Listen,
But
before,
we
and I
love
want
you
you
guys.
to
They're not
thank you
reporting,
guys
like, all the
so
fucking
much,
winning
so
Trump
much.
states,
Sometimes,
so-
Right.
you know, there are a lot of people who go out there and
So I'm
talk
gonna
about their
guess the
numbers and talk about how
popular votes
successful they
will
are.
go up.
I try
Considerably
not
with
to base the success based
I would
on
hope
the
so,
numbers.
yeah.
And I know everyone here gets more excited
Oh,
about the numbers
buddy,
than I do.
I
For
hope
example,
so,
that
too.
first
I
debate
got
stream
another bet on him
was the
winning
most watched
popular
conservative
vote.
stream ever with 170,000. But you know I wasn't really happy about it. I
shit.
left out there and I
So
kind of read
we
some
only
of
have
it,
to
and I
win
was like, this cue wasn't right,
either
this wasn't right.
Michigan
And I think
or
you guys know any of
Pennsylvania.
that you know that I love you.
Those are
and I
the.
wanna make it better.
I mean,
The second one was
Wisconsin's
smaller,
done.
but I was
Georgia's
happier about
done.
how
North
we pulled it off.
Carolina's done.
So this isn't
Alaska's
based
done.
on how many people are watching,
Nevada's
but
done.
I also
That's in
am aware
Biden's hands.
that means that there are
So right now it's
500
between
something thousand,
Michigan
over half a
and
million
PA.
people at that second.
Which
Hearts
Pennsylvania's
and
leaning
minds
pretty
who are
far
watching,
towards
who are
Trump. Same thing
choosing,
with
and I
Michigan.
always hear, well, you know that you have many choices.
So-
Thank you for flying
Yeah,
Delta.
that
Well,
is
the
the
truth is we
longer
don't have
call
many
for
choices,
Biden.
and your cookies don't make up for it. Though I did find
Really?
out the cookies from Delta, they are delicious.
It's fucking empty.
The point remains.
Did you ever find them though?
I did.
Okay.
That's true.
Where's the last-
Remember, actually, she used to work for us. Casey sent me some of those because she knew that I loved them.
Ah.
Hi, Casey.
Yeah.
Every previous worker who's worked with this company, I'm still friends with, and I just remember.
Even
I just,
Nevada's still
anyway,
fucking
I just remember that night, and I want you to continue
Yeah.
with the story. But thank you guys
so
so,
does all the fucking
so
ones
much.
that
And if
Trump's
you are
already
watching, and
had
if you
on.
haven't joined
Yeah,
Mug,
Yeah, and the
I
ones
really
that
do ask
Biden's
that
way
you
ahead
do,
on,
and I
too.
know that it's a lot to ask, $69 for many of you. That times
He's
are
ahead
tight
12
right
points
now.
in Maine.
But I
so-
really, really do appreciate you being
Oh, yeah, I didn't understand.
with
I
us
didn't
because I
see
do
that.
feel
They don't
what
even have
what
that
did I
filled
tell you
out.
guys? I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember this
Fox
before we
has
went
it-
out
has it filled
for
out,
any
but,
live
I mean,
show. What have I
I don't
always
think that's
told
gonna
you
switch. I
before
think
we
that's
go out
staying
and there's
Biden.
a crowd roaring? I say it doesn't matter because what?
It's the first time.
It's the first time.
you're going out there.
You've
You
got
gotta prove
to
it.
earn it. You've got to act like it's the first time you're appearing in front of these people. And whether we succeed or not, that is my belief. And thank you. You know what, Garrett? That means a lot that you know that you hear
Boom.
that from me because
What the
I've
fuck?
always tried to tell everyone
How
here,
is
don't
the
rest on your laurels. Don't expect
District
people
of
to let you
Columbia
coast. We always try and earn your viewership
Only
every
9%
single
is in.
time. Even when I say Charlottesville,
Okay.
North Carolina, like a fuck up.
Wait,
Well,
really?
that-
You've
Yeah,
covered
right.
for that. You've paid your
Yes.
penance.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like we've always come out if I
5%
have
Yeah.
mistakes. But I just, I
Biden is at
really, and this isn't. Listen, I've had 3
91.9%
drinks
and
over the
called it
course
for
of
Biden.
7 hours.
Projected.
I am
You're fine.
so grateful.
That's
I really,
30,000.
I'm
DC's at
touched and I'm
66%,
grateful,
man.
and this shows us just how far not
We're
only have
saying
we come,
9%
but how
is
much less afraid you
20,000 for
guys
Biden,
are.
On what?
How
1,800
much more
for Trump.
bold conservatives are. I mean,
District of
Audio
Columbia.
Wade, you were watching that election night. You
Oh.
said.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
You were one of those 35,000,
I was.
and you said
yeah.
that's what made you a
At
fan.
9%.
Yeah, it definitely solidified. It
So
was, I
only
think it was one of the
9%
first
it's
full
like
episodes I
30,000
watched.
On
Just a
well, on
great way
Fox
to
they're showing
follow
they're
along
showing
and
it at
not be
66%.
alone watching the news by
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
so,
Every
yeah.
vote.
And Tokenawan
It
is
meant a lot
quiet
to me.
too, but you guys, everyone here. has been
212,000 for
fantastic.
Biden
I will
and
say-
then
I wanna
12,000 for
continue the
Trump.
story of election night. But you know what? Reg the Bandit, he didn't want to wear his bandit
So-
mask tonight, and I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of pissed. But that's
CNN
I'm kind
is
of a fan.
behind.
big.
They're way
He said
behind.
whatever I needed to do to
They're just not
perform,
calling it.
and it is
That's
hard.
just-
Yeah, but I wanted to put on makeup, like war makeup, and you were
I don't know why they wouldn't, because
Monster stuff with the mask.
they're
But-
winning there.
So I was pissed
Yeah,
about
I
that, but
guess
I'm a
so.
pushover boss. If I
They
were
called it
like
a
another boss, I'd be like,
District
you're
of
putting on the
Columbia
mask. But
Like, wow, way more votes for
when
him.
Reg called me one time, people don't know this. Reg, can I say that you were a
66%,
professor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hundreds
just
of
did.
thousands.
Okay.
I mean-
I'll be
Reg
right
was a
back.
professor of research, and Courtney knows this. We always said, thank God he's on our side.
I know, right?
Not Reg. I was like, this is
Don't
the guy
piss
who's
him off.
635 squat, and he found the salon pedophile, and you would find so much information
Yeah.
to the point where we would hire interns to help Reg with research, and they would go, I can't do anything. I say I can't because Reg, like you'll say, and then Reg already has it.
He's already got
I'm like,
it.
hey, Reg, can you find something comparable? Like, well, yeah, I can check it out. And then, then he has like all of a sudden. I'm surprised he doesn't have all the election history right now in front of us. He's probably working on it. He'll just come up with it so quickly. He's brilliant. And I wanted to hire him so badly, but I also knew that he was working at a school, and with schools, there are pensions, and there was something that the kind of security that I couldn't provide for him at that time. And then one time he said, I need to talk with you. And I thought, oh my God, we're going to lose Reg. I thought he's getting tenure.
Ominous.
And you called, and you were so nervous. You know how I remember you had a mason jar. You were on Skype.
Oh, I always have a mason jar on Skype.
Well,
that's,
fuck
that's
you.
my
This is
default
more.
drinking vessel.
This is important because listen. I'm trying to. This is the problem. He doesn't understand creating
Yeah.
an emotional
Yeah.
connection with the audience. You son of a bitch.
It's analytical.
His neuronet. His CPU is a neuronet processor. He's
Neuronet
mildly
processor.
autistic.
The mason jar means nothing.
Yeah, but he had a mason jar and he kept drinking from it.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, he's nervous. And he was nervous because he had worked himself out of a job. He was such a good professor that, can I say this, Reg? You could tell me if I'm speaking out of turn. But he had put all of his lessons, his lectures on tape. I say, digitized, whatever you want to call them, recorded them, filmed them. And then they're like, we don't need you anymore. And so Reg was calling me to see if he could come work for me full time. And I remember hitting my knees. And I mean this afterwards, hitting my knees. Not quite crying, but I told Hillary, you can ask my wife, Reg, after this. Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. He's not looking at me because he's uncomfortable. Do you remember this? I think I told you. I was like, I think Reg. I was like, I don't know. I think maybe I didn't tell you, but I remember telling Hillary, I was like, I think I'm going to lose Reg. And I said, please be. I said a prayer with my wife before I went in and talked with you. I said, I don't want to lose Reg. I said, I need to find out. I said, I just don't know if I can compete with tenure and with like all the benefits, but I know I can try and offer to pay him more. So let's come up with an offer. And we came up with kind of a concrete offer. And I said, so my wife and I prayed. And then you got there and you were on the phone and you were drinking. And I was like, oh no, Reg is going to say that he's leaving. And then Reg was like, can I come work for you full time? And I said, yeah. And I think you asked for a certain amount. And it was less than I had planned, and so I just gave you more, right?
Yeah.
What, am I mistaken in that?
No, that's 100%
like $10
accurate.
more.
Yeah. I think it was like, if I'm not mistaken, it was take that and add a few zeros more. Where I was like, no, Reg, no. Before this, you don't understand. Before this call, I spoke with my wife, and this is what we were prepared to offer you because like this is what we can afford. Let's see if Reg will take it. And then Reg said, this is all I need because I'm gonna have to leave my university.
Yeah.
And we said, no, we already agreed to this amount. You're gonna be paid more. And there's been a real rhyme and reason. Vox Apocalypse. And I want to go back to the election story, but for people who don't know this, when the Vox Apocalypse happened, you guys know this. Remember when I came in and I had that meeting with you guys?
Yeah.
No, I told you, don't worry, that's not the biggest chunk of our revenue, and it wasn't. And YouTube has never been the biggest chunk of our revenue. In order, it goes your subscriptions far and away, your Mug Club memberships far and away. And then it goes sponsors, from people like Black Rifle Coffee and Spartan Armor and some others. And then way down the list, it goes YouTube revenue. But I also understood that when YouTube demonetized us, that was their first step toward banning us. Before I walked in and had a meeting with this team, I got on a call with YouTube, and they read a prefab letter. I wish Bill were here because he could testify to this. They read a prefab letter with no answers, like, you have been found to be skirting on borderline content. And as they were reading it, the room started spinning. I was upstairs in our guest room, and the room started spinning, and I thought I was having a heart attack. I couldn't breathe, and I remember my knees got weak, and I couldn't stand, and I laid on the back of the bed while they finished their prefab statement that they regurgitated, and they hung up. And then I got on the phone with Bill. I said, wait, what just happened? He said, they just demonetized us. I said, they didn't ban us? He said, no. I said, okay. All right, let's call a meeting with the team. We came in, and remember, I had that meeting with you guys.
And
that's
pretty tense.
That's when we wrote up the 16-minute apology for everything that I've done wrong, which for people who don't remember was an insult to every single leftist on YouTube and some people who were just collateral damage. Sorry. It was scattershot.
You were there.
But I wouldn't have been able to do that if not for the team. And all of that started with not a belief in myself, but a belief in what we could do that election night. So we go back to that. So election night, I go into the bathroom. I say, Courtney, I just can't handle everything that's going on. You say, I got this. And then I guess you and Gerald spoke. And now the floor is yours.
Yeah, it was the first time I think you even appeared on the show. Like,
it was
always
first time.
Audio.
I'd called in a few times about Islamic terrorism. Those bastards were
we're
busy.
Talk Islam at a fatwa, I think.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oops. Okay, so Courtney calls you that night.
Yeah, I don't remember because so he called me. I knew kind of things were chaotic because we had kind of the too many cooks in the kitchen thing, everybody trying to do one thing instead of one person doing one assignment.
Yeah.
And then Steven went to take a potty break maybe, or
and I had no idea what to say other than Courtney, my eyes are blue. I don't know if you remember that. Somebody can pull the video up. I was basically like the first time on camera. Steven's like sit in my chair for a few minutes. I'm like, oh God.
I think we
what do I do?
said bad things about them.
Pretty much. Yeah.
About who?
About you guys.
About most people.
Yeah.
But then it became like this. Courtney would feed me kind of stuff to say, right? You would give me results and you would text me, and you and I would text back and forth, and we had a much more kind of easy flow of information. And then Steven would actually call on me to say something instead of me just kind of going, oh God, Steven, something's happening, and really just bombarding you with information. So it streamlined the whole process.
And by the way, anyone here, whether Reg, you, Courtney, if you want to leave, sorry guys. I mean, you can just set the audio, and I can kind of sit here because I do want to stay with you guys at least a little into the night. Who here wants to stay for at least a little while?
I want to stay for a little bit because I'm seeing numbers move a little bit. So Nevada has tightened, Arizona has tightened again. I think it's up to 82 or 83%, and it's moved closer. We've seen Pennsylvania move further away. The gap is getting a little bit bigger in Michigan.
Keep in mind that night we sat down. We fully at that point.
It was Hillary.
There was no Donald Trump upset.
No, not at all.
We thought Hillary was going to win, and we thought, hey, you know what? We're just going to make this something that helps it go down smooth.
Yeah.
Because we've never believed that the country is done because of one person. And I don't believe that's the case if Biden wins.
Yeah, we had conversations about Donald Trump and his candidacy, and I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought it was just a publicity grab early on in the primaries, and
we were not
like,
pro-Trump.
This guy he's not going to be around. It's probably going to be Rubio, or it's going to be Cruz, or maybe Jeb Bush, somebody like that. And then he did something.
I did say Trump over Jeb Bush. I remember saying anyone not named Jeb Bush, but I didn't think it was.
Well, no, but those were the guys that everybody was talking about. Donald Trump was kind of like this carnival
Jeb
barker,
Bush caught his
right?
dick in a light socket.
Well,
I remember you being pretty
in his defense, he thought it was a gumball machine.
Well, at least it wasn't.
It's so small and narrow.
Yeah, something else.
It wasn't a good defense. No, I was very anti-Trump.
Yeah, you were very.
I was very anti-Trump at that point, and
we
again
didn't know.
because
and even after you were still like, I don't know, let's watch
and
see what he does.
I've readily admitted for a long time that I was wrong. I was wrong because I don't think we've had a president govern this conservatively.
No.
Okay, put it this way: none of us here hated George Bush. Donald Trump a better president than George Bush?
Yes.
Yeah. So
easy.
I mean, think about it this way:
easily.
If Donald Trump had not dealt with COVID. And I will say this: people don't like Donald Trump's rhetoric on COVID. His actions on COVID are fantastic, just fine. If we had not had COVID, this would not be a close race at all.
No.
The economy was booming in ways that we didn't think were possible under Obama and Biden. And so this is one of those like kind of fate deals you a hand kind of conversations where you're like, well, this happened.
I was wrong, and I was wrong too in the sense that when we talked about the trade wars with China, I think the tariffs it's basically a VAT tax on the consumer. But he definitely opened a lot of people's eyes to the dishonesty that was taking place from China. I was just watching an episode of The Office. Remember, everyone, and my dad was one person who always said, I don't believe this. When they were always saying China is the next great economic superpower of the world. Anyone believe that today? No. And that's almost entirely because of Donald Trump. And you know what?
Blink.
That helps. Look at the protesters in Hong Kong. That helps human rights across the globe.
Yeah.
If China were to become the next great global superpower, which is what all the Democrats were saying, which is what the entire media, entertainment, industrial complex was saying, think those kids in the Apple factory would be any better off, those kids making your sneakers? No. Now they have a shot. Because if China wants to compete, they can't just screw Americans and they can't just screw their own people.
Right.
They have to start playing fair to some degree. So there really has been a lot. I will say that Donald Trump has moved me from being more libertarian to I am a constitutional conservative, but also taking a hard line on trade, and I hate to use the word, but global policy, globalist policy. We are not all in this together. We are not all one. I am not one with communist China. I am not one with Iran. I am not one with Egypt. I want to be clear about that, and I think Donald Trump has made it okay to say that. And I think there's been a lot of progress there, and there's been a lot that I've had to check myself on.
The bot is at 80% now.
I think it's emboldened a lot of people. But that election
and it is leaning towards Biden.
Man, that was something I will always remember, and it would not have taken place if not for the two of you, and the two of you paved the way for everyone here.
That's what we're going to look at.
For sure. Were you about to say something there, Reg? I thought you raised your hand.
No, I was just saying, it seems like the buzz in the media and on Twitter and everywhere here is that, Trump has declared himself the winner of the election. He did do his little bumping back and forth. They're like, frankly,
we kind of did that.
And so, fine.
But I like it.
Well, we know how Trump is. He's saying we're going to fight this to the Supreme Court, which is what the Democrats were saying already. That's what the Attorney General of Pennsylvania was saying already, and he's just saying we're not going to let people stuff ballot boxes for 3 more days in Pennsylvania just to pull out a win, is basically what he's saying. And so I think it's one of those things where, do you wish he might not have phrased it that way?
What do you got going in the background?
Sure. But, would it have played better if he'd phrased it differently?
I've got it streaming.
Yes, but I think the heart of it is, we want to make sure this is a fair election. If Biden's allowed to say, we were winning, and we will win this or whatever. If he's allowed to say that, I think Trump is allowed to give a statement and say that they'll,
Of course he's allowed.
Right.
Talk about a milk toast. I think Donald Trump, he's a president. He can squash your nuts to oblivion, and you have nothing to say about it.
What I'm saying, though, is that people in the media are saying this is
in Pennsylvania
egregious and and how
that
dare he?
Biden
and,
has.
No,
So I
no,
think
he
he's won
hasn't or
Pennsylvania.
whatever. When clearly we know what he's.
Was that
Well,
Shirley
and-
Temple in the
well,
media?
yeah.
No. Oh my
Several
word.
counties
That was
still
Jake
blah,
Tapper.
blah, blah.
Well,
Yeah.
and so
Talking
you brought up
about,
a really
like,
good point. Every single time
it's not
that,
over yet.
and
No
you know,
winners
we've said this a
yet,
million
but
times, but
determined.
every single time something like this happens, Donald Trump, the headline goes, Trump says he'll
Well,
go
but
to
it's
Supreme
like-
Court, unclear why, falsely claims victory when states have
yeah,
yet to be called.
Pretty much.
If Joe Biden says
Can't
anything
get too much-
remotely similar,
can't
they
swing too
frame
much
it.
the other way
They put it in
anymore.
they frame it a
context.
different way.
Yeah.
And of course, all that
By the
Trump
way,
is
people
saying,
out there, I do want you to do the research on elections that are comparable to see
Yeah.
if they called states.
well, and all that Trump was saying is, I think we've won this election. And all of a sudden, the votes stopped coming in.
Yep,
and
I think I'm gonna call
feel
it.
like there's
Completely
I
factual.
feel like,
Can I say-
God
let me say
forbid,
one.
Pennsylvania might have
I
some voter fraud like
firmly
they've
believe
always
that
had.
Donald Trump
Yeah.
has
Yeah,
won
voter
a
fraud.
second
Almost
term.
like, hey, you know what? I think Chicago has a
And-
strong corrupt union.
Yeah,
That's it
exactly.
on
It's
that.
like,
Really?
That's
Did they
not
charge you
controversial.
$2,800 to plug in your
4
own
more years
television at
with the Orange
McCormick Place,
Man.
which actually happened with my wife?
Media,
Fuck 'em.
giving
So,
everybody a heart attack.
Biden and Trump both gave a speech.
Serious.
They were similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They were different. in-
Trump knew where he
Yep,
was.
it's 2 a.m.
Do you guys know what that was? Okay, let me
I'm
ask you
calling
this.
it. Trump's
It's-
won.
And I'm not. This isn't a trick question.
That's it. Thanks for
how were
watching
they
the
similar?
stream, guys. Wasn't much information.
They
I
were
wish I would have
similar
started
in
it
saying,
earlier.
all right,
but,
we may not know these results tonight.
freaking
and,
out.
Thank you so much.
Not gonna lie.
We feel good about it.
Some positive spin. yeah.
But
Some
for those
positive
of you who
spin.
stopped by, thanks
The
for
difference
watching.
is, Joe Biden said,
And,
we feel good about it, positive spin.
We'll be back later.
Good night. Donald
We'll
Trump
be
said,
streaming tomorrow
feel
night
good
with
about it.
our results.
time to fight.
Hopefully they've.
It's the difference in energy.
I would hope that they would have
Joe
released the
Biden
results.
is
Hopefully
not
they got them in the morning.
even willing to fight the night of the
but,
election. And that's why I want to
yeah.
be up for a little
That's it, guys.
while.
Thanks.
And I don't care. If you guys
Take it
leave the
easy.
camera on.